There's been a major development in the police shooting of 22-year-old African-American woman Rakia Boyd.
I'm committed to confronting this board, city council, and the mayor until y'all fire Dante service.
Black women do a lot of thankless and undervalued work.
We taking back our community.
The new documentary Unapologetic explores the movement for Black lives in Chicago through the lives of its feminist leaders. The film's director and producer, Ashley O'Shea and Morgan Johnson, both join us to tell us more about it. Thank you both for being with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
So this all started with the death of Rakia Boyd and then Laquan McDonald and the activism that followed. And I think you said going to a police board meeting is when you kind of had a realization about all of this.
Yes, it was in the fall of 2015, which was around the time that young Black people in the city were continuing to organize around the killing of Rakia Boyd. And at this Chicago Police Board hearing that happens monthly, the organizers in the space completely shut the meeting down. And I was just taken aback that the leaders in the space and the people on the bullhorns were people that looked just like me. They were young Black women and feminist voices. And I felt that a story needed to be told from that perspective.
I think some people think that Black Lives Matter movement has this office in Manhattan and there's a board and there's a coordinated effort. Can you describe the nature of what this movement is and what it isn't?
Yeah, well, it's definitely different than movements that we've seen before. It hasn't come out of the Black church. There isn't one singular male figure at the helm of it. It really is grassroots organizers from all over the country. It's women like Bella Baz and Janae Bonsu.
What do you think was the tipping point that set all the activity happening this year in particular?
Well, certainly a lot of the uprising recirculated again after the death of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor in Kentucky. But that is not detached from what we see in this film that starts in 2015 with the death of Rakia Boyd and Laquan McDonald. So I think what we often see in social movement space is a lot of cyclical reaction, cyclical behavior, because it's less of an individual problem than it is an institutional problem. And that's what young Black people, especially in this city, are focused on addressing is the institution, not just one person's singular actions.
So unlike the civil rights movement, I think you have far more white people, a much more diverse crowd marching with Black Lives Matter. However, I think there came a point where you saw some looting and some people who maybe were on board with the movement took a step back and say, hey, what is going on here? How do you answer those people who have that criticism that tie in the looting with the Black Lives Movement and the protests?
When I think about looting, I think about America and how this land was looted from the people who were here.
That's okay. Yes, I'll say I agree with that. I think that often people value property over people. And so what we're seeing in a lot of these uprisings is that people have a righteous rage after years of being oppressed, of their communities being under-resourced, living in food deserts, not having access to education and mental health. And so, you know, once you kind of reach that tipping point and you don't have access to those resources, we really have to reshape the conversation about if we value property and capital over humans and the values of Black lives.
So you can stream Unapologetic. It's starting November 20th, and it's also at siskelfilmcenter.org. You can find more information at unapologeticfilm.com. Ladies, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Paul.
Hi, guys.